So welcome to Meet the Boss Junior. Today I'm speaking with you, Chris Munday, CEO of Qscan. First question, you might know I love cars. What's your favorite car?
Oh, it's a good question, Liam, because I do like cars too, and it's hard to have a single favourite. So I've probably got a few. Now, I asked my wife last year, Liam, if I could have one of these, and she gave me that. I asked if I could have an Aston Martin, and she gave me a toy. So it's not as good as the real thing, I don't think, but it's nice. I'd like actually one of those in real life. But my other one that I have got in real life is much older than that. I've got a really old Ford Falcon GT, which is a 1971 Ford Falcon GT, which you can see on the windowsill in the background, actually, in red. And that's a bit of fun, but it drives like a 50-year-old car, Liam. It's not quite as exciting when you actually own one of these things. I think the Aston Martin would be a much nicer drive. What about you? What's your favorite car?
I like the Lycan Hypersport.
Oh yeah. Now, do you find that there's a new car released all the time, so you keep changing what you like?
Nah, not really. I stick to it for a bit. Sometimes I change a bit. But next question. Think back
Go
to
ahead.
when you were a kid. What did you want to do when you grew up?
Yeah, I don't think I was as clever as you, Liam. You kind of know what you want to do. I grew up in a medical family. My dad was a doctor. My two older brothers became doctors. So I think I probably assumed that I might become a doctor, but I didn't. And I ended up going into business. But yeah, look, I probably took me till my late teens, I think, before I realised that I wanted to get into business. Which is what I ended up doing.
Okay, so I want to hear all about your work, but first tell me your story. How did you become a CEO?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think people take a different path to being a CEO. I think once I decided I didn't want to become a doctor like some members of my family, I did go to university and studied commerce. So I think I knew that I wanted to get into business and in some sort of business at some stage. I wasn't quite sure exactly what that would look like. But I ended up going to university and doing commerce. And then I got my first job was with what back then was called the big six accounting firms. And I was with a firm called Arthur Andersen, which was a global accounting firm. So I did accounting for a number of years and then eventually ended up as a partner in one of those firms, a firm called EY or Ernst & Young. And I enjoyed that. And that was a really good foundation in business. I learned a lot. They provide a lot of great training during my career, which was really important for anyone young. And then eventually, I think I just got weary of being in that professional services and accounting industry. So I made the move into commerce and was the CFO of a couple of companies, chief financial officer. And then I got approached to become the CEO of Qscan, which is where I am now, which is a really great role, which I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Now tell me about your company. What is your product and who are your customers?
Yeah, so Qscan is a diagnostic imaging company, Liam. Liam, have you ever had an X-ray?
Don't really remember.
Possibly not, possibly too. That's actually a good thing if you haven't, Liam. That means you haven't broken anything. So that's good. But Qscan does X-rays and ultrasound, so MRI you might have heard of. So it does diagnostic imaging. So it's a healthcare company. That's the service it provides. So we've got clinics all around Australia where you can go and have your scan. And then the doctors who work with us are called radiologists. So that's Qscan, national company. And who are our customers? Well, I guess our customers are a couple of things. One would be our patients. So our patients who come to our clinics are very much our customers. And the other customer that we have is our referring doctors. So doctors will, like a GP or a specialist, will have their patients and then refer them to come to Qscan, where they'll have their scan, their X-ray or their ultrasound or CT scan.
So what do you love most about your job?
I think I like a lot of things about the job. I love being involved in an innovative company, so a company that's doing exciting things, and I love working with people. And this company is very much a sort of people and IT company. So we've got over 1,000 staff who work across our clinics and our support office. Innovation and technology is a huge part of what we do. So having the best machines to provide the best quality images for our patients and our doctors. But working with great people is really exciting, and people who care about what they do. The health industry is a great industry to work in because everyone's very passionate about helping other people, and I like that. I like being in that type of environment. So yeah, I think in summary, it's working with great people who want to do things really well, who care about what they do and the people that they're looking after. So that's nice. Nice to be leading a company in an industry like this.
So what's the hardest thing about your job?
Oh, I think in the last couple of years, one of the hardest things has just been managing the sort of unexpected events. So you'll know, Liam, that obviously we've had the pandemic in the last couple of years, but even before that, we had some really nasty bushfires down in New South Wales and Queensland. And then we've had the floods back in a couple of years ago, and of course earlier this year. So those things as a CEO are very difficult to manage because you kind of got your plans for what you're trying to do with the company and how you're growing the business. And then suddenly you kind of get blindsided by these unexpected events. So that's very difficult part of being a CEO because ultimately you're responsible for how you manage these things, albeit you're surrounded, and I'm very lucky to be surrounded by great people that I work with, so that helps. But unexpected things are definitely a challenge. And I guess just maintaining the energy and the pace is a challenge too. It gets, it can be very difficult at times and quite stressful. So you've got to find that right balance and make sure you're looking after yourself and make sure that your staff are looking after themselves. But that's the exciting part about being a CEO too, Liam. If it wasn't challenging and it was boring, we wouldn't want to do it. We wouldn't aspire to it. So it's all about finding that right balance and definitely, continuing to focus on the good things and not get distracted by the challenging and the difficult matters.
So what does success look like to you?
Well, probably a lot of things. I think as a leader in the organisation, when you're a big Australian company, I like our staff and because of all the hard work that our people put in every day, I like to be recognised. So I think it's nice if we as a company are recognised as leaders in the industry. That's success to me. So if someone said that Qscan is regarded as the best at what it does, that to me would be success. And that would be things like, patients saying that they think we're the best in terms of how we look after them. The referring doctors saying that our doctors and our staff are the best. And then, of course, being regarded as the employer of choice. So having people wanting to join your company, Liam, if you've got people who want to join your company because they believe it's the best at what you do in the industry, that's success. So yeah, a lot of things, and not surprisingly, Liam, a lot of them revolve around great people because great companies tend to be built around great people.
So what's one piece of advice for me as I think about starting my own company?
Oh, I think there's a few, Liam. I think be patient. That's one of them. Not many companies succeed, or CEOs, succeed overnight. To build a great company takes time, and then along the way, you're going to make some mistakes, and I think that's okay. So remember that it's all right to fail every now and again. You've got to take risks to be successful, but calculated risks. So you have to be careful. But if you're too conservative, you won't grow and you won't meet your goals. So I think it's just being sensible, but taking some risks every now and again and just working hard, Liam. Success tends to come to those people who work really hard. So having a plan and a strategy and working hard. So there's a lot of things in all of that, but I suspect most of the other CEOs that you've met would say that it's never just one thing. It's always a whole lot of things that will ultimately lead to success. And you're at a young age, so if you're doing, I'm so impressed that you're doing these interviews and you're listening and asking questions. Actually, that's another great one. Listen, I think I came into this role and I hadn't spent my whole career in health, but here I am as the CEO of a health company, and I did a lot of listening. And I think you're listening and asking a lot of questions at a young age. Never be scared to ask lots of questions, Liam. Ask lots of questions because people will tell you the answers and you'll learn a lot. So don't be shy, which you're not because you're interviewing CEOs. So you're off to a really good start, Liam. I'm very impressed.
Looks like that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story. Best luck with your future.
Thanks, Liam. Been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.